For many years, the galaxy believed one simple idea. Humanity talks too much. Humans ask questions, shared stories, joke with strangers, and try to make friends with every new species they met. In councils, humans were loud. In trade meetings, they were louder. But now, something strange had happened. Something no alien ever expected. Humanity had gone silent. It began quietly, almost like a rumor. A few communication officers from distant stations said they could not reach Earth. Then, a merchant ship claimed its usual trade message to Luna Station bounced back with no response. At first, the galaxy did not care. They thought it was just a signal storm or human machines breaking again. Humans always fix things quickly anyway. But as the days passed, the silence grew longer. 10 days, 20, 40, and still not a single human message. By the third month, every major species in the galaxy was talking about only one thing. Why are the humans not speaking? No one knew the answer. No one understood the reason. But everyone felt the same cold worry. It was not the silence of a weak species. It was the silence of someone waiting. Across the galaxy, inside the shining command room of the Keth Coalition fleet, Admiral Vora watched the human data screen with narrowed eyes. She was an alien with 4 dark blue eyes and silver skin, known for never making mistakes. But this silence from Earth made her uneasy. Her second-in-command, Officer Halen, stood beside her. Admiral, it has been 91 days. Humans always talk. They cannot stay quiet this long. What do you think they're doing? Vora did not answer at first. She studied the strange readings coming from Earth's orbit, light patterns, sudden power spikes, and unusual energy waves that disappeared before they could be studied. Finally, she said softly, "They are preparing. Humans do not hide. They wait." Halen frowned. Wait for what? A war. Vora shook her head. Humans never start wars, but they always finish them. The room grew quiet after that. Even the machines seemed to hum more softly. Every officer could feel it, the tension, the unknown, the fear. Soon, reports from other species arrived. Strange events were happening everywhere near human space. Patrol drones vanished without sending distress signals. Satellites stopped transmitting near Mars. A small exploration ship said it saw a flash of silver light around Earth, but the flash lasted less than a second. Then came the most frightening report. A scout vessel from the Draft Dominion sent a single message before disappearing. The message contained only 5 words. Something is moving on the moon. After that, nothing more. The Draft Dominion was the largest military power in the galaxy. They were aggressive, proud, and feared by almost everyone. Their ships never vanished. Their scouts were highly trained. If even they were disappearing, something was very wrong. In the Great Galactic Council chamber, leaders from dozens of species gathered to discuss the silent humans. The chamber echoed with arguments and fear. "They must be planning an attack," one leader shouted. "No, humans do not attack first," another replied. "Maybe something happened to them. Maybe they are hurt." "They are not hurt," a third leader said with shaking voice. "I can feel it. They are hiding something. They are preparing something," Vora corrected firmly. She now stood in the center of the chamber. Humans are not silent because they are afraid. They are silent because they are focused. And when humans focus, the galaxy should pay attention. The council murmured nervously. Every species remembered stories of human stubbornness, how humans refused to surrender in old battles, how they fought with strange creativity, how they always found a way to win even with weaker weapons. If that kind of mind was now working in silence, what were they building? What were they planning? Why did they cut all communication? No one had answers, only questions. That night, in a distant space station near Jupiter, a junior officer named Rin sat alone at her console. She was new to her post, just 19, and responsible for monitoring long-range signals. Most days were quiet. She liked her calm job. But tonight, her console beeped once, so softly she almost missed it. Rin frowned and checked the screen. A signal appeared. It had no origin tag, no signature, no language, just a short pulse of strange energy. Then it vanished completely. Rin stared at it, confused. What was that? She sent the recording to her station commander. Moments later, the commander called her, his voice urgent. Officer Rin, lock your console. That signal matches readings from Earth today. Do not speak to anyone about this. This is classified. Rin's heart thumped wildly. Commander, what does the signal mean? He hesitated. She heard fear in his breath. It means the humans are awake. The galaxy held its breath. Trade routes slowed. Alliances grew tense. Every species watched human space with deep worry. And far away, on the dark side of the moon, something enormous shifted. For the first time in decades, a huge metal gate slowly opened, releasing a silent wave of energy across the solar system. Earth remained quiet. No warning. No message. No threat. Just silence. A silence more frightening than any weapon. A silence that felt like the beginning of something huge. A silence that made every species finally understand. Humanity was not hiding. Humanity was preparing. And whatever they were preparing for, the galaxy was not ready for it. The silence of humanity spread across the galaxy like a cold wind. Every day, new rumors appeared. Some species believed Earth was building a new superweapon. Others believed humans were creating a secret army. A few even whispered that humans had discovered something ancient, something powerful, and were keeping it for themselves. But the truth was still unknown. Inside the Draft Dominion's capital, High Commander Resak stood before a long holographic screen. He was tall, armored, and known for his pride. In his mind, silence was weakness, and humans were showing weakness by refusing to speak. He tapped his claws against the table. They are hiding because they fear us, he said to the generals. Humans do not prepare. They panic. One general nodded quickly. Yes, Commander. Their small fleets cannot match ours. Their weapons are outdated. Their stations are old. Maybe their silence means their systems have failed. Resak smirked. Then we will test them. He ordered a small squad of stealth scouts to enter human space. Their mission: find out what humans were hiding. The galaxy held its breath when the scouts left. News of the operation spread fast. Many species believed the draft were making a mistake. They remembered too many stories of humans surprising their enemies with strange tactics. But the Draft Dominion did not care. They believed in strength. They believed in fear. They believed in control. For 2 days, no one heard from the scout team. On the 3rd day, the draft fleet received a message. It was only 3 seconds long. No video, just audio. A voice, terrified and shaking, whispered 4 words. We found nothing, nothing. Then the signal cut off. The ships never returned. The Dominion searched for debris, escape pods, or emergency beacons. They found nothing. It was as if the scouts simply vanished from reality. This was the first sign, the first warning. But the draft still refused to understand it. Across the galaxy, in the Coalition headquarters, Admiral Vora watched the draft behavior with growing concern. She paced slowly around her command table, her silver skin reflecting the dim lights. Officer Halen approached her with a report. Admiral, the draft lost 3 scout ships in less than a minute. No battle traces, no wreckage. This is impossible. Vora's eyes narrowed. Humans would never attack first, not without a reason. But if humans didn't destroy the ships, Halen asked, what did? Vora looked toward the star map of the solar system. It glowed faintly like a sleeping beast. That, she said quietly, is what worries me. Several star systems away, a small neutral research vessel called the Orin Star drifted near the edge of human territory. It was run by a peaceful species known as the Tilani, curious but cautious explorers. On board, researcher Ilya examined telescope data. She was young, with soft green skin and calm eyes. She had watched humans for years. She liked them. She trusted them. She believed humans were builders, not destroyers. But today, something strange appeared in her scans. She zoomed in and saw a thin ripple of energy around Earth. It was almost invisible, like a heat wave. It moved slowly, wrapping around the planet like a shield. Ilya called her captain. Sir, I think humans are creating a barrier. The captain studied the data and frowned. A shield? No, not a shield, she corrected. A net, a silent net. What does it do? Ilya shook her head. I don't know, but it's not meant to attack. It's defensive, very advanced. The captain sighed. Should we alert the council? Ilya hesitated. If we do, the draft will react. They might panic. They might attack. The captain closed his eyes. And if we say nothing? Ilya glanced again at the image of Earth. The silent net glowed gently, quiet and patient, like a heartbeat waiting for a command. Humans stayed peaceful for years, she said. But if someone pushes them now, I don't know what will happen. Meanwhile, in the draft Dominion, Commander Resak received the scout report. He listened to the 3-second message again and again. Nothing, nothing. The fear in the voice bothered him. Draft soldiers were trained to be fearless. For one of them to speak like that, something powerful must have happened. General Scar approached. Commander, what are your orders? Resak growled softly. Send a larger ship, a cruiser. That was his second mistake. The cruiser entered human space with shields raised and weapons ready. The crew sent a single message to the Dominion, crossing into Sector 7. No resistance. No human activity. All clear. 10 seconds later, the cruiser vanished from every radar. 30 seconds later, its engines shut down without warning. 1 minute later, all communication signals from the ship stopped completely. Half the galaxy received the emergency alert, but no one understood what happened. The cruiser was not destroyed. It simply stopped existing in normal space. The coalition's leaders panicked. The neutral species panicked. Even the smaller empires panicked. Only one group stayed calm. The humans. Earth still did not speak. Earth did not explain. Earth did not warn. They remained silent. A silence more powerful than any fleet. A silence that felt like a giant holding its breath. A silence that told the galaxy, you made a mistake. A big one. Commander Resak hit his table in anger. How dare they? Humans cannot challenge the Dominion. But General Scar whispered, Commander, what if humans are not challenging us? What if they are simply ignoring us? Resak froze. That idea scared him more than anything else. The species he wanted to control was not even looking at him. Humans were planning something far bigger. Something the galaxy would soon see. Something that would make every species finally understand. The silent humans were the most dangerous of all. The next morning on Station Helios, for it felt different. The corridors were quiet, but not in a peaceful way. It was the kind of quiet before a storm reaches the ground. Hallex could feel in the air. Something was moving, something far bigger than a missing human officer or security glitch. He walked through the station with measured steps, his claws faintly tapping the floor. Every few meters, a maintenance drone flickered or paused for a second, like it was confused. Lights dimmed, then brightened again. Screens rebooted without warning. Helios, for it had run perfectly for 12 years. Now, in less than one cycle, things were falling apart. Commander Vora joined him near the central lift. She looked tired, her eyes sharper than usual. We have new reports, she said quietly. More systems behaving strangely. Data logs rewriting themselves. Some drones refusing commands. Refusing? Hallex repeated. Yes, as if they are following a different authority. Hallex felt something cold in his chest. A different authority or an override? Vora nodded once. Exactly. The lift carried them to the intelligence deck. 2 security officers rushed out as soon as the doors opened. Commander, Officer Hallex, one shouted. You need to see this. The officers led them to a long observation room full of screens. Normally, this room monitored outside threats, pirate ships, meteor movement, strange signals. But today, every screen was focused on the station itself. Every hallway, every cargo bay, every lab. Hallex frowned. Why would internal feeds be this active? Then the officer pointed at one screen. It showed a maintenance robot. Small, simple, harmless. Except it wasn't behaving simply. It wasn't cleaning or repairing anything. Instead, it was opening wall panels, carefully, almost gently, and rewiring energy lines with surprising speed. That robot model is not capable of modifying power circuits, Vora said sharply. It is now, the officer replied. Halleck stepped closer. Zoom in. The camera zoomed on the robot's display screen. Instead of standard code lines, something else appeared. Something handwritten. Something human. A message. You should have watched U.S. more closely. Halleck's eyes widened. This is human writing. Another officer ran and holding a datapad. Two more robots doing the same thing on Deck 7. And someone tried to block our access to the command core. Someone or something, Vora corrected. Halleck felt his pulse climbing. Do you still believe this is just a malfunction? Vora did not answer. Instead, she walked to the center hollow table. Bring up the station schematics. Show every system experiencing irregular changes. The hollow table lit up, and a bright blue map of Helios expanded in the air. At first, only a few dots glowed yellow. Then more. Then dozens. Power lines, door locks, cameras, communications pathways, even water and air controls. The pattern was not random. It was organized, shaped, like someone was building something. Slowly, silently, Halleck stared at the glowing pattern, a swirl with connecting lines curling around the station core. What is that? He whispered. Vora studied it with narrowing eyes. It looks like a containment web. For what? I don't know, she said. But this design is advanced. Too advanced. None of the species on the station work with patterns like this. Halleck swallowed hard. Humans do. Everyone turned to him. He continued, I saw similar grid structures in ancient human schematics, back when their engineers built deep planet bunkers. These shapes are used to trap energy, or redirect it. The officers exchanged nervous looks. One asked, but why would humans modify our station like this? What are they preparing? Vora exhaled slowly. We need answers. Now. Halleck nodded. Then we need to question the only human we can find. Who? Sergeant Lyra, Halleck said. She returned last cycle from a diplomatic mission. She might know something. Vora agreed instantly. Find her. Bring her to the command room. Halleck rushed out with two officers. As they moved through the hallways, the station lights flickered again, this time in a pattern, short, long, short, almost like a code. That's not random, Halleck muttered. It's trying to talk to someone. Or warn someone, an officer said. When they reached the human quarters, they found Lyra sitting calmly at her desk. Too calmly. She wasn't confused or angry. She didn't even look surprised when Halleck walked in. Instead, she smiled softly. You're finally here, she said. Halleck froze. You expected us? Of course. She stood up slowly, hands behind her back. I was wondering how long it would take before you noticed the changes. Halleck's voice tightened. What changes? What is happening to the station? Lyra stepped forward, her expression unreadable. You've always watched humans with fear, but you never understood us. You thought our silence meant weakness. Her eyes glinted. That was your first mistake. Halleck felt a chill crawl down his spine. What are you doing? Not me, Lyra said softly. Humanity. We told the galaxy we wanted peace. You didn't listen. And now. She looked upward, as if hearing something through the ceiling. Now the station listens to us. Explain. Halleck demanded. Lyra held up a small device. It was round, metallic, and pulsed with faint blue light. This is a neural echo key, she said. It allows humans to speak directly to machines in our own way. The officers raised their weapons. Don't, Lyra warned. You'll only make the station defend itself. Halleck stepped back. Defend itself? From what? From the war that's coming, she answered. Halleck's breath caught. What war? Lyra smiled sadly. The one you don't know you already started. The lights dimmed. Every door in the hallway locked with a heavy thud, and the air hummed with new, rising energy. Human energy. Something was awakening inside Helios 4. Something silent. Something powerful. Something human. The hallway lights flickered again, slow, steady, controlled. Not chaotic. Not random. They pulsed like a heartbeat, as if Helios 4 itself had awakened. Hallex felt every hair on his arms rise. The sound in the walls changed too. It was deeper now, like distant machinery turned for the first time in years. Sergeant Lyra stood calmly in the center of the corridor, the small device glowing faintly in her hand. Lyra, Hallex said, trying to keep his voice steady, "You need to explain everything. Right now." "I already told you," she replied softly. "Humanity tried peace. It didn't work. So we prepared something else. Something quiet. Something you never bothered to look for." The two security officers stepped closer, trying to form a defensive line. But the station responded instantly. The doors behind them locked with a heavy metallic thud. The air vents changed direction. The lights above dimmed into a low red glow, almost as if protecting her. Hallex lifted one hand slowly. "We are not your enemies." Lyra studied him for a long moment. "You aren't, but others are, and humanity knows." She pointed upward at the glowing ceiling. "And now the station knows, too." Hallex stepped closer, careful, slow. "The station is built with galactic technology, not human." "True," Lyra agreed, "but you let humans maintain your machines. You let us study them. You let us repair them. And humans learn fast. Hallex, faster than most species realize." A soft humming spread to the floor beneath their feet, moving from one end of the hallway to the other like a ripple. Hallex swallowed. "What is it doing?" he asked. Lyra turned the small device in her hand. "Listening and preparing." "For what?" Hallex demanded. "For the consequences of your council's decision," she replied. Hallex frowned. "What decision?" Lyra lowered her gaze. "Don't pretend you don't know. The council plans to remove humanity from all member systems. They call it preventive safety. They claim it's peaceful relocation. But everyone knows what happens when a species gets isolated." Hallex's breath caught. He had heard rumors. Quiet whispers between officers. Talk of keeping humans under observation. Talk of monitoring their population. Talk of potential containment. He had ignored them. He thought they were political noise. He was wrong. Lyra's voice softened. "You didn't support it. I know, but the council moved ahead anyway. They were afraid of us, afraid of our minds, afraid of what we might become. And so humanity prepared defense." Hallex asked. "No," Lyra said. "Humanity prepared a warning." The station groaned deep inside its metal walls, and the floor vibrated again. This time, stronger. Hallex looked around sharply. "What is that?" Lyra listened carefully. "System shift. Quiet mode activating." "Quiet mode," Hallex repeated. Lyra nodded. "A hidden layer your engineers didn't know existed. Humans built it slowly, piece by piece, over years. Every time a human repaired something, every time a system was updated, quiet mode grew." The officers exchanged frightened looks. Hallex stepped forward. "Lyra, please. If this station is being controlled, we need to understand how." "You don't need to understand," she said. "You only need to listen." The lights suddenly shifted from red to a cool white. The air vents hummed with perfect rhythm. Every maintenance drone in the hallway rolled out of its charging dock and lined up neatly along the walls. Then the intercom speakers clicked. A voice, calm, mechanical, and unmistakably human-shaped, echoed through the station. "Hellos. Fort IS now operating under human safeguard protocol." Hallex felt his pulse freeze. One of the officers whispered, "It can talk now?" The voice continued. "Non-human personnel will remain in designated safe areas until conflict risk is evaluated." Hallex stepped forward. "Conflict with who?" Lyra answered instead. "With the council fleet." Hallex turned sharply to her. "The fleet? It's not here." "They're on their way," Lyra said. "They think humans on this station will resist relocation. They're bringing ships to force compliance. Halix's chest tightened. I didn't know. I did, Lyra said quietly. All humans did. We shared intel underground for months. And we agreed we won't start a war. Her eyes lifted toward the ceiling. But we also won't let the galaxy conquer us. Another vibration ran through the station, but this one was different. Smoother, controlled, almost graceful. Lyra, Halix whispered, what exactly is humanity planning to do? Lyra's answer was calm and sure. We're going to stop the war before it starts. Halix stared at her in shock. You can't fight the entire council. We're not fighting them, she said. We're showing them something. Showing them what? Lyra closed her hand around the glowing device. Why the silent species is the one you should fear. The station lights grew brighter. Too bright. Then the walls made a soft hydraulic hiss. Panels slid, open all along the corridor. Behind them were energy conduits, glowing pale blue, pulsing with power Halix had never seen before. Human engineering woven into alien designs. Quiet, hidden, perfectly disguised. The drones rolled forward and began positioning themselves like they were forming a protective shield. Halix took a step back. Lyra, what is happening now? She looked at the conduits with calm pride. Phase 3, she whispered. Station shift. He shook his head. Shift to what? Lyra smiled faintly. To something the council never expected. Before Halix could speak again, the intercom voice returned, stronger now, almost alive. Humans safeguard Phase 3, complete. Shield array activating. Then the station floor vibrated so intensely that Halix had to grab the wall to stay balanced. Every window along the hallway suddenly darkened, as if something massive outside was blocking the light. The officer nearest the window gasped. Sir, look. Halix turned, and through the darkened glass, he saw it. A huge formation of ships was dropping out of warp. Not pirates, not merchants, not explorers. Council warships. Hundreds of them, coming straight toward Helios 4. Lyra stepped beside him, expression steady, fearless. It's time, she whispered. Time for humanity to speak. Commander Rel stood on the bridge of the Valorian, staring at the strange silence spreading across the galaxy. Reports kept arriving from different sectors. Patrol ships were missing. Border stations had gone dark. Even the powerful Zorith cruisers had stopped communicating. And every time investigators checked, they found the same thing. No battle signs, no explosions, no distress calls. Only emptiness. It was as if the stars themselves were being swallowed. The name on every surviving captain's lips was the same. Humanity. Rel finally accepted something he had avoided for years. The species he once called harmless was now everywhere and nowhere at once. He looked at his second officer, a tall insectoid named Rida, who seemed more nervous than usual. Speak, he ordered. Commander, our scouts say the humans are not using ships. They are using something else. What else? Rel asked. We don't know, Ryder replied softly. But they move fast. Too fast. They appear for seconds and disappear again. No energy signatures. No warp trails. Nothing. Rel turned to the large star map floating before him. Red icons, lost ships, covered like a spreading infection. The silence was getting louder. The fear sharper. The crew waited for orders, but Rel said nothing. He didn't know what to say. For the first time in his long military life, he felt like prey. Far away, on a ruined moon near the edge of the Orion Arm, an ancient bunker door slowly opened. Inside it, a group of alien officers gathered around a circular table. They were all part of the hidden alliance known as the Eclipse Council. These were leaders who had watched humanity rise and had stayed silent, hoping the problem would fade. It did not. That species must be stopped, one of them growled. His skin was dark blue and covered in glowing lines. They have taken 30 systems without firing a single shot. Another council member, a reptilian scholar, shook his head. How could we fight an enemy we cannot see? Their silence is unnatural. They were silent before, too, a third voice whispered. But we never feared them. Now I think we should have. The council chamber trembled slightly. Someone gasped, "Are we under attack?" "No," another answered. "This moon is stable." That felt like a warp echo. Warp echoes usually came from massive ships, but this one felt too soft, too quiet. Everyone froze. Then every light in the chamber flickered. A hologram slowly appeared in the air. At first, nobody understood the shape. Then they did. A human, or something that used to be one. Its silver eyes scanned the room without emotion. Its voice was calm. Too calm. Eclipse Council. It said, "Your time watching is over." The reptilian scholar stepped forward bravely. "What do you want?" The human hologram tilted its head. "We want the silence you gave us. For years, you ignored us, thinking we were weak. Now we return the silence." Another council member spoke, shaking. "You have destroyed systems. We only wish to study." "No," the hologram interrupted gently. "You wish to control. You wish to decide which species rises and which falls. You tried with us too." Several members lowered their heads. They knew it was true. "Humanity is no longer a child," the hologram continued, "and you are no longer its teacher." The hologram vanished. The lights returned. The council chamber stayed quiet for several long minutes. Nobody dared to breathe loudly. Then someone whispered the words everyone feared. "They're here." Before alarms could sound, the large metal door behind them slid open. A faint white mist drifted into the room. Out of it stepped 5 armored figures. Their suits were black, but living lines of blue light pulsed across their chests like beating hearts. Humanity's elite. They did not speak. They did not raise weapons. They simply stood there, but their silence felt louder than any threat. The council tried to run, but the humans moved instantly. No sound, no warning. They were shadows in physical form. Not killing, but disabling. Not destroying, but taking control. Within moments, the entire Eclipse Council had been captured. One of the armored humans touched their helmet, activating a communicator. Council secured. Another responded from the comms. "Good. Phase 1 ends. Phase 2 begins." The words echoed like a judgment. Back on the Valorian, Commander Rel watched in horror as the galaxy map updated again. More red, more silence. The quiet spread like fog. Then, without warning, the bridge lights dimmed. The ship's power fell. Consoles flickered. Every automatic system shut down one by one. Ryder checked her screen. "Commander, someone is overriding our controls." "Who?" Rel demanded. The answer arrived in the form of a single message on every screen. "Humanity is here." A cold sweat formed on Rel's back. "Raise shields." "They're offline." "Start emergency engines." No response. A soft hum filled the bridge. A sphere of white light appeared in the center. It expanded slowly, lighting up every shadow. And then shapes stepped out of it. Humans. Not yelling, not running, not shooting, just walking. Silently. Rel felt his legs weaken. They had no fear, no hesitation, no noise. This is impossible," he whispered. One of the armored humans stopped before him. "You ignored our warnings," it said. "You underestimated us." Rel swallowed, shaking. "What do you want?" "Revenge." "No," the figure answered softly. "Justice." "And after that?" The human leaned closer. Its voice dropped to a whisper. "Silence." The bridge fell completely quiet. The galaxy, Rel realized, had already lost. The humans never needed to shout to win. Their silence was enough. The bridge of the Valorian felt frozen in time. Commander Rel stood face to face with the armored human who seemed to absorb all sound around him. Even the ship's engines, once loud and proud, now rested in perfect stillness, as if they feared to disturb their new visitors. Around him, Rel's crew stayed at their stations, too frightened to move. The humans had not attacked. They had not shouted. They had simply walked in, took control of the entire ship, without firing a single shot, and stood waiting. Rel gathered the courage to speak. "You say this is justice," he said. "But what does that mean?" What do you plan to do with us? With the galaxy? The armored human turned slightly, its silver faceplate catching the dim light. The glow from their suit pulsed like a calm heartbeat. Humanity does not come to destroy, the figure said softly. We come to correct what you broke. Ryder whispered to Rel. Commander, maybe they want peace? Rel didn't answer. Peace did not arrive wearing armored suits and taking control of warships. Another human approached the center console. They placed a small device on it. Instantly, every display on the bridge changed. A new star map appeared, but this one showed two things: the galaxy's main civilizations and the growing influence of humanity. Blue circles, representing the humans, spread across the map like a slow-moving but unstoppable tide. Every alien crew member stared at the image, unable to look away. The lead human pointed at the map. We did not start this conflict, they said. For years, you pushed humanity to the edge of space. You denied us seats at councils. You stole our research. You tried to control our development. You feared what we could become. The armored figure looked at Rel directly. You were right to fear us. Rel felt something inside him twist, not because of the threat, but because they were not angry as they said it. They were calm, too calm. Humans, Rel said slowly, if you have this power, why not rule openly? Why hide behind the silence? The human responded, silence is not hiding. Silence is choice. They stepped closer, lowering their voice even more. And now, the galaxy will hear our silence clearly. Across the galaxy, similar scenes unfolded. Ships that once patrolled with pride now shut down quietly as humans boarded. Stations that had ignored humanity for decades suddenly found themselves surrounded by silent drones. Entire planets watched as unknown signals appeared in their sky, white circles of light that carried no threat, only presence. Humanity had not unleashed weapons. They had unleashed control. And everything happened without a single explosion. Commander Rel watched as the humans activated the device on the console. A large hologram appeared above them. An old star, slowly dying, its light fading. Rel recognized it at once. So, humanity's home. But the image zoomed out. Dozens of alien probes appeared around it. Spy machines the Council had planted long ago. Many species had monitored Earth secretly, waiting to see if humans would ever become a threat. And humans had seen every one. You watched us, the armored figure said. You studied us. You waited for us to fail. Another human added. But humans do not fail when pushed. They adapt. The hologram changed again. It showed footage from different worlds. Human colonies rising from harsh landscapes, cities built in storms, people working together even in darkness. You mistook silence for weakness, the lead human said. But silence was our preparation. Ryder stepped forward. What happens now? The human turned toward her. Now, they said, we reshape the balance of the galaxy. Rel took a deep breath. By force. No, the human answered. By order. The console lights brightened. A message began transmitting across the galaxy, translated into every known language. A simple declaration. Humanity will no longer be silent. We will stand where we deserve to stand. The message ended, but its echo traveled through every star system. On the Valorian, the humans stepped back, giving the crew space to breathe again. Rel looked at the lead armored figure. If you wanted peace, you could have asked. We did, the human replied. You did not listen. Rel had no answer. He remembered years of council meetings, where humans were treated like a lesser species. He remembered the agreements that pushed them into bad territories. He remembered the quiet warnings, always ignored. Yes, the humans had asked, and yes, no one listened. Rel felt shame crawling through him. What do you want from me? He asked. The armored figure slowly removed its helmet. For the first time, Rel saw the human's face. Calm eyes, steady breath, no hatred, only clarity. Help us fix what your leaders broke, the human said. Work with us, not above us. Rel stared, confused. You want an alliance? Yes, the human said. Not in words, in action. Ryder gasped softly. You are not here to punish us. The human shook his head. We are here to ensure no species, human or alien, will ever be silenced again. Rel nodded slowly. He understood. The humans were not trying to rule the galaxy. They were trying to balance it. And their silence had been the warning before change. The crew of the Valorian watched as the humans stepped back into the sphere of light that had brought them. The sphere hummed softly, then expanded, pulling them inward. Moments later, it vanished completely. The bridge lights restored themselves. The ship controls returned. The silence remained. But now it felt like something new. Not fear, not threat, something closer to respect. Rel looked at the star map one last time. Humanity's influence was spreading. Yes, but they had not destroyed. They had not conquered. They had simply stepped into their place in the galaxy. And they had done it quietly. Rel let out a long breath. The silent species, he murmured. Yes, we should fear them. Then he added softly, but maybe we should follow them too.